do your research, do your homework, and then be also honest to your word. I think that's what people value the most. Don't offer things that you cannot commit. That will give you trouble right away.
Hey guys, this is Sid Patel, CEO of Beverage Trade Network and International Bulk Wine and Spirit Show. Welcome to Inside the Drinks Business episode. We're going to talk about how to grow your private label business, especially if you're a winery. It can be international or US-based winery who wants to grow their private label offerings. This is the interview that you want to listen to. I'm here with Chris Fernandez from Via Pacifica Selections, and they've been in this business growing their private label, especially in the US market. So Chris, thanks for having me here.
Thank you, Sid. Good to see you again after so many shows on the fairs.
Thank you so much. So first of all, appreciate all the business you've given us. You've been our exhibitors at the Bulk Wine Show. Really appreciate that. Let's go in introducing yourself and about your company. Talk to me about your journey. Like, what's your background?
So Via Pacifica, we try to do things differently. We are producers, self-imported into the US. We're always trying to add value to our customers, even if it is with our own brands or private label programs. We try to give a customized solution. Back in the days, logistics was the main issue. We solve that. We bring the containers. We sell them landed. So we are producers, self-imported, like a vertically integrated company, and that's give us the option to give better value to our customers and bring innovation and good customer service.
True. So you open your states and you yourself manage your retail. So you're really the distribution company as well here in US.
Exactly. So we're covering basically all the possible options, again, to give a better service. So if the customer doesn't have distribution, we have distributors. We can bring the product to them. If it's a bigger client and they have everything set up, they buy from the winery, all good. If it's middle of the road and we need to land the product in the port in here, we can also do that. So it's about a customized solution.
And that can help. You think that helps when you pitch big accounts, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's you who are controlling the whole thing and you own it, right, as well. So
absolutely. So again, I think customization and customer service is the key on everything. And wine has been always very slow on that, especially wineries. They are very rigid. And this is what I do. These are the terms, and they forget about all the complexities that are in the market. And especially for import products, we try to solve that with smart and basically easy solutions for the clients. That they want our wines, they like it, but then when they start thinking on how do I bring it, what is going to happen after that, we basically have everything solved for them on those regards.
Let's go on business development, right? Do you have internal sales process that you have made, which is an effective model for you? And it can be, walk me over your lead generation, new business development methods. Obviously trade show is one thing that you use.
Absolutely.
But apart from that, any cold calling that you every week do 50 new leads, you have a target that 20 samples has to go out every month. So walk me over, give me some nitty gritty of your business development.
I think there is not a recipe. It's like all of the above, everything that you mentioned. Trade shows are very important. If you're new, you're going to meet new customers. If you're not new, you're going to meet the customers that you met before, and you're building that relationship. Cold calls, I don't like them, but they are necessary. You have to do it. You got to take the heat. I think that also gives you the courage to keep going. But definitely cold calls, you need to introduce to clients that they don't go to those shows, so they don't sometimes answer to your email. So you got to call them. You got to get a hold of them. LinkedIn, every possible tool that you can have.
And do you use like a CRM or?
Absolutely, yes. We use CRMs. We use customer databases that we basically go through, that we validate. We know someone, and then we have to validate it through different platforms and figure it out. How do we get hold of him? So customer research, we invest a lot of time.
Got it.
And not just on finding who is the person, but also how do we customize the offer so it's attractive for him. We don't do one offer for everybody and then do like an email blast. Everything is customized to the customer. Costco is different to K&L, to a smaller regional retail chain. So everything is customized, and that's what takes most of my time, basically.
Let's go more tactical here. So I'll give you a scenario. So walk me over on how you would approach this whole thing. Right? Let's say now, our target is festival foods or specs, or twin liquors. So let's pick one chain, maybe or Bevmo.
Yeah.
So how do you start? Like, okay, we don't know who the buyer is. So how do you start the process?
First, clearly it's, okay, what are their price points? What are their audience?
In your category, meaning?
In the categories that we play, we have a portfolio of different things imported, but we also do domestic California wines. So, okay, which is stronger? And where do you see the opportunities on those? And also, how do I differentiate? Because they probably already carry private labels from the country that I produce. But okay, am I better? Am I different? Is that I know that is not going well?
So you would go to the stores, you would ask people.
Purchase, try, okay, mine is better. Okay, I have a point.
Oh, nice.
I have a point in there. Okay, mine on an equivalent private label had 90 points. This one is 87. So the quality, okay, I have a pitch point.
And then you're preparing your deck, basically.
Exactly. I customize that, and I wait for the right opportunity. If I know that he's going to the show, I'm ready. I'm looking at him, and I, when he comes in the show, I'm not like, boozing around.
Yeah.
I'm prepared. I know that he's gonna be in the room, and I target him with a customized offer. I don't spend more than 3 to 4 minutes, and I know that their time and their attention is limited, and that's the way we approach, and we've been successful doing that. And then after that, if I see interest, then you start seeing, okay, which are the things that he likes, and where do I see the problems that I need to solve. As I mentioned before, if the guy is worried about logistics, I offer this solution. If he's worried is about packaging, I offer something different. So then you start refining, but you already have him with the interest on the product.
One of the hardest thing is to know who is the buyer and what's their phone number and email. Any tips on how you do that?
References. I think we're an industry where we're all friends. We all know each other. There is people that is very honest, and even though we're all competitors, there's room for all of us. And someone that is already doing business with that guy, you give them a call and explain, I'm not going after you.
Yeah.
You have a relationship. Even in the US, sometimes like brokers, they have the gatekeepers relationship.
That's very true. I remember when I was selling my own brand. Kroger's is what we were pitching, but they would only do business through the broker, and the broker had the entry to that, right? For various reasons. So talk about that, because this is something which people don't know. The old guys who worked and now retired are the guys who can get you in.
Again, there's no one answer or one strategy. You have to play it all, and every customer is different. Some customers, they like to go direct.
What do you search? If you want to find brokers, so what do you search? Wine broker, chain brokers? Or?
No, for the brokers, those I think you will not find online. They are like warriors of the road. So it's, again, all about relationships. Sometimes the buyer might tell you, look, I really like how this guy worked. When we say, okay, how can I be closer to you? How do you want me to have a better communication? And the guy might say, I really like to work with this guy. And then, okay, you have an introduction to a broker. If you are the opposite, trying to get to the buyer through a broker, then again, probably someone gave you the references of him, or you met a broker on a trade show. So there is no one methodology, but I think those guys are the hardest to find.
True.
Because they are old-fashioned. They are they manage relationships, 100%. So they hardly will have a business card.
Yeah,
and their email is Hotmail, and but they are the ones that manage the day-to-day with those buyers. So that's, again, is what is the difference of being here, settled in, and knowing
how it
people,
works, how really it works,
as opposed to be making phone calls from a winery that you you might not know these things.
So let's say you done your initial part of, the likability that, okay, this guy is genuine. Let me have a meeting with him. And now it's time where, okay, after 5 days, you have got the meeting, for 30 minutes. Pitch, like, tell me what you got, right? That's how they say it.
30 minutes will be a lot. I'll be excited.
10 minutes maybe, right? So now they've said, tell me what you got, right? How do you present from the start? How do you optimize your 10 minutes?
Again, category research, you want to offer them, they are making the best profit of the real estate. So you need to know which categories are going well for him, which categories are going well in general for the market, which categories that he might not know that are yet relevant for him that are growing elsewhere. Also present your success cases on other markets.
True.
So, okay, look, this market is very forward into heavy reds or sweet wines or anything like that. I think that, like this is coming your way, you should look at it. So also keep him, you have to be the advocate for him. They have no time to crunch data. They are busy with their day-to-day. So you need to give them the data, the solution, and put it in your favor always. But basically you need to tell them which categories are growing, and that's the most efficient. So if I go and present like particular wine, okay, Sauvignon Blanc, fast-growing category, New Zealand is leading it, but they are raising prices. So here we come with an option, an opportunity. So he's like, okay, yeah, this is happening. He's offering me a solution, and then all of a sudden you have his attention, and maybe he's interested on something. So I think is study the category, know what you're pitching, choose 2, 3, 4 max products. You cannot go with a whole portfolio and pass through 5 different countries. The guy is going to be lost in a second. So you have to be very, very precise. And if that didn't work, you have the option to do it again with another, but keep things, I think, focused and precise.
And you said case studies. So do you also show that, hey, we work with ABC liquors, and this is what we've done with them, and we've grown this way, and these are our depletion reports at Total Wines, for example. Do you share that data?
Yeah, success stories, they always like it. Okay. That's what they want to hear, unless it's their own program that they know they have the data. But otherwise, you always have to show something that, okay, why is this relevant? You cannot have from something out of the blue. Normally, they are not going to be the first risk takers, so they want you to have done something. Okay, I started in the on-premise, in the independents. It's a big success, and that customer also I know that shops in this store. So then, okay, it's coming your way. That's basically where you try to get them interested.
So you said, I mean, it's amazing. Like the first is basically product market fit is what you're going for. Like you're showing them it's a clear category and it's the right time to get this category in, and I have got that at a better margins for you. Mm-hmm. Now the second would be, let's talk about pricing, let's talk about delivery, let's talk about quantity, let's talk about support. At what time and how do you present that?
Well, I mean, it has to come on the first place. I think it's an important part of the conversation. When the pricing comes too far down the line, things can fall apart, after you have done all the effort. So I think the pricing is something that you need to mention. Referential doesn't have to be the sharp, you don't want to be totally committed, but you have to know what's your target retail price, what are competitor are you targeting, giving some references of where are you playing. So pricing, soft referential in an early point, but then down the line, I think on the second, when you are sending samples, you have to already have had that pricing discussion. So it's not very late, okay, I forgot about pricing. It's not the way it works. Otherwise, you will have waste your time, because it can fall. So I think that's a variable that is very, very important from the get-go. Basically.
And what about merchandising or support programs? What do you think works normally for a big or regional chain?
For everything that is merchandising in store, I think they have that well covered with the large distributors. Okay. When you want to differentiate, or at least in my experience and my case, I try to offer alternatives and I try to offer enhanced margins. Basically giving them the right products delivered by someone that is more convenient, but then I give that merchandising given in the product. So good packaging, ready to display boxes, things that are already done, but we don't have the manpower that a large distributor will have on the floor to bring, a merchandiser. So it depends. If you work with a large retailer, large distributor, you can offer that as a solution. If you are working with the smaller distributors, at the end, you're probably not going to be able to deliver your commitments. So we focus a lot on the product, that the product itself is ready to roll, having all the information, points, every logo of sustainability, everything possible so that the consumer has all the information there and you're giving the minimum work for the retailer. So that's where we also try to be very, very clear.
Yeah. What are the, on private label programs when you're pitching, what are the 5 or 6, give us some examples of objections that come, which normally are like typical questions they ask you, okay, due to this, due to that, and what's your answer to them?
For private labels, you win them, they're looking for pricing and margins. So pricing is the first thing. Okay, you are out of pricing, there is cheaper, then the quality, of course. Okay, so your quality, you have the pricing is right, the quality is good, the packaging. So you're going through the normal, like a 3, like a classic checks. But then also it's about the distributor that you work. A smaller retailer is different than a large national retailer.
They prefer a national, so they don't have to worry about each state, I believe?
Exactly. So you need to have a distribution network that is reliable for a large national retailer. But for a smaller retailer, maybe you want someone that is more local. So in our case, we have built a distribution network that is, we work with A, B, C list levels of distributors, from very regional, focused, small, could be 5-6 persons, to also we work with.
And I think that's a very good point. People should understand that there is a reason why you have to design a portfolio in a way that you play with distributors as well. I exactly remember. So one is for Southern Network, let's say one is for Budweiser Miller Network, one is for the mom and pop boutique distributors. So it helps you when you are going the next level in the chains.
That's part of the solution that we were talking at the beginning. You need to have everything solved, So, okay, how are you going to land that product in there? Okay, you want it with this distributor? Okay, yeah, I have that network and that capability, and that's very important. So,
and one of the things on the pricing, till what I remember, they have to make better margins, you said, right? But we don't know how. So I think one of the pointers which I always use is, okay, this is my category. Let's say Sauvignon Blanc, $15. So I knew Oyster Bay was, let's say, the main one.
Yep.
So if they're making 40% on that, we know that that's the number one selling and they're making 40%. Now, if I can offer 50%, then it's something we're talking now. At that price point, I'm making 15% only, then it makes sense for them to go in private label there, right?
Absolutely. So yeah, you have to know the numbers, what they're making. If you are not offering like equal or better margin, there's absolutely no point with a brand that might be less known. So yeah, you need to be better. You need to be attractive. And again, the success stories maybe, okay, you're smaller, but you have a great success story. You have a celebrity behind. You have something that a great social media. So something that will boost those sales, or even now, like that they are very focused on sustainability, on minorities. Okay, maybe this is a product that it might have equal or even, let's say, less margin, but you are being better for the environment, and some retailers, they value that.
And I think you've done, just walk us over some examples of how you've made some new products which are more relevant on what's going on today. So I think you can just show us some examples.
Yeah, again, we focus on fast-growing categories, and Sauvignon Blanc is one of them, but there's a lot of Sauvignon Blanc. So, okay, what do we do different, or what are our attributes? And basically, we are sustainable, we're a B Corp, so we pass all those communication into consumers. Also, we do slightly lower alcohols naturally, so what is called the better for you category. So we add all these zero sugar, low alcohol, sustainable, vegan, all what consumers are aware and more conscious now. So we're not just offering, let's say, a Sauvignon Blanc, we're offering a Sauvignon Blanc at the right quality,
Yeah, and I
right
can
price.
see you've written calories, fat,
Absolutely.
so carbohydrate.
We want to go ahead of and differentiate from elsewhere. And people is very resilient to declare the alcohol or the sugar content. We are transparent. Transparency is what consumers want. They want to know what they're consuming. And the moment that you know that what you're offering is clean, you should say it. And,
Nice.
and that's something that they do care. So price, quality, communication of the attributes, scores are very important. So we have relationship with all the top reviewers, and we submit the magazines with even when we do a private label that a lot of people they pass the private label and wash your hands. It's your label, you do it.
It's important to show retailers it's got the liquid in it.
Yeah, we do it for them. We are behind it. We show it to the reviewers, and sometimes we get 90 plus points, and that helps everybody.
Nice, agreed. On the closing part, right? Like any tips on asking the buyer? Like how do you ask them? Okay, what's the next step? What's your elevator pitch there?
Well, the launch dates were the ones that they work with very far planograms. It can be frustrated, but lock a date, because you will need that to get the commitment with the distributor and all down the line. So you need the buyer to, even though they will change that date probably, commit to a date. Okay, we are done. This is the label, the product, the price. When are we rolling it? So you need to be able to log that, because otherwise it's all up in the air. And the moment that it's up in the air, you are not firm, and anybody can cut you through, or something can happen.
True.
So you need to log a date in terms of the launch,
the rollout, basically.
Of the rollout.
That's the question you asked.
That's very, very important, because you have the deal, but okay, is it for 1 year?
Yeah.
Forward? Is it in 6 months? Are we doing it now? And for that, it's also very important to, okay, do you have the inventories in state? Are you bringing them from the winery? So it carries a lot of. So timing for once you are into that very end of it, you agreed on the price, the quality. He's interested. Okay, when are we doing it? So lock that
What
down.
about? Let's touch on some last question on controlled states, right? Like PLCB and other things. Do they buy private labels? Do people work with them on that?
They work a lot with exclusive labels. In my experience, at least with state controls, I don't make any private labels for them.
Okay.
But of course, exclusive, they control the market. But they love to have products that are known outside. They have a good, like a price reference, and then they are able.
So like control label, meaning they get exclusivity for that brand, but they don't want to get in the business of private label.
As far as I have seen, not their own label. They don't need that because they control the market. So,
true, absolutely.
Yeah,
they can create the margins for that monopoly.
For that own, yeah.
Cool. Any closing remarks for people out there trying to grow their private label business?
I think it's a hard work, but it's very rewarding. You meet very good people, but you need to work hard, do your research. That's the key. How do you have the very first pitch? It has to be short. It has to be very clear. Those 2 minutes are gold to get the attention. And the buyers, they get calls and meet people all the time. So you need to be the one that they will remember and say, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, and get that trust. And then you do what you know. But that very first approach is very important. So if it's in a trade show, know who's going, know who's going to be walking the floor, and target them. They love, I've grabbed people and say, look, 2 minutes. It's going to be 2 minutes, and then you can walk away, but then
nice.
They feel that you know what you're doing, and that's what we all want. We don't want to hang out with people that are messing around. So do your research, do your homework, and then be also honest to your word. I think that's what people value the most. Don't offer things that you cannot commit. That will give you trouble right away.